Hi friends, I am Sweta Kaushal and my guest for the day is actor Vivek Oberoi. From the reluctant gangster Chandu to the mean kingmaker Dhawan, he's had quite a journey in this industry and today we shall chat with him about his journey, his latest show Inside Edge Season 3 and hopefully much more. Welcome to Hindustan Times, Vivek.
Thank you, Sweta. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Am I saying your name correctly? It's not Shweta, it's Sweta.
Yes, it's Sweta.
Perfect. Lovely. How are you doing?
And that's rare. I'm usually Shweta for everyone.
Name at the bottom has no H, it's SW. So I was like, let me say it right.
Thanks a lot for that. So, first of all, how has the reaction been? The show is out.
Are you seeing me beaming from one end to the other? Yeah, it's been amazing. I realized only after this overwhelming response, to the show, to my performance, the reviews, this undiluted, unfiltered love, this pure love coming in from all the fans, my fans, the fans of the show, the fans of Vikrant Dhawan, the character. I realized how much I missed this. Oh my God, yeah. I missed acting, shooting, putting it out there for people to watch it. Really, really missed it. I switched into a different mode for a couple of years in there, almost a couple of years in there, where during COVID, we were more busy cooking food in the kitchen and, and homeschooling our children and stuff like that. And now we're back to being what we love doing most. Aside from the fan love that's coming in, saying that, we were waiting for this for so long, and Vikrant Dhawan's amazing, and all kinds of crazy superlative statements. Fantastic for my ego, fantastic for my sense of self. Like, I'm inflated right now. I need my wife to come and just puncture me and bring me down, as she always does, to the ground. But I think the funniest, most interesting observation that I've seen until now is a fan who sent out to me saying that Vikrant Dhawan is the Jon Snow of Inside Edge, and I couldn't stop laughing, because he just comes back from the dead. He's there. He's undefeatable in a way.
True. You kind of answered my next question. I was about to ask you what have been the best and most shocking reactions to this entire series.
Well, yeah, I think there's been so many, and what I've been doing quite funnily, actually, and I kind of laughed at myself doing it and shared that with my wife also. She was also having a good laugh at it, that ever since this trailer came out, the whole process of seeing how many million views the trailer has reached, and what are the comments for the trailer, what are the memes that are coming up. Oh my God, there are some crazy, funny, creative memes that are coming up around Vikrant Dhawan. And I'm absolutely loving it. I'm literally like liking, reposting, having a big laugh at all these memes that are so creative and funny. Today, India did phenomenally well against New Zealand. And I saw a meme that was hilarious. I don't know if I reposted it or not, but it was a meme where you have Bhai Saab and everybody attacking Vikrant from the first two seasons. And you have they've put New Zealand team up there, and then they show Vikrant Dhawan saying Badla and the scorecard, because I think New Zealand was almost bundled out or down like 8 or 9 down for like 55 runs or something like that. So it's so funny how people are taking things that are topical and adding Vikrant Dhawan to the mix and creating memes on it.
It is a very interesting, intriguing character. So do you want to talk about how it was getting into this, the mindset of this character? Not just the entire, like there's one thing, I guess, you get a hang of what the character thinks, how it behaves, he behaves. And how do you work with the mindset when you're shooting? Like every day you go to the set, shoot, and then you're off. How do you deal with that? I don't know, switching mindsets. So how exactly do you work on that?
That's two really interesting questions. And that's probably the dichotomy of being an actor, right? That life. So thank you for asking me that question. The first bit is, Sweta, for me to get to know Vikrant without judging him. I do this process of writing from the first film, from Chandu. You mentioned Chandu from Company. From Chandu to now, I've done this process for every character that I do, where I write a backstory. I write an autobiography for the whole character, from where he was born to where the film begins or the show begins, and then where the show or film ends and what happens after that to that character, right? So I kind of like to write that whole process. Even if a character dies in a film or a show, for me, it's what would his epitaph read? What would his obituary say? What would the eulogies for him when he died? So I kind of go into that extent. And that allows me an insight into this character. And I get to know this character like a person, holistically. And that's what allows me to bring a performance on screen where on paper it's pure darkness, it's pure negative, it's just an absolute meaning. But somewhere you're still evoking a response from the audience where they want him to win. They're cheering for him almost. And to achieve that, there's some sort of a human connect. I feel that there's a bit of Vikrant in all of us. Right? That fighter, that guy who never says die. And you have to respect that no matter what, he's out there. And there is a human side to him. I mean, there's a scar that's visible and there's a scar that's within, right? What is that scar within that has made him feel this hunger for unabashed power? What is that? What is that greed for power? Where is it coming from? That hunger for power that drives him so strongly, that fuels him. So it kind of reflects across all the choices he makes. It reflects across his relationship with his wife, with Sudha, which is the most real thing that there is. And there's no judgment in that relationship. It's a bizarre relationship. They work like teammates, achieving a goal together. So I think that's the fascinating stuff. So that's the first part, getting to know that character and trying to bring layers in without being a typical hero, villain, negative, positive story. I hate that. I like to layer things up as an actor. The second aspect, when you said that, how do you get in and how do you get out? So getting in is trying to empathize with what Vikrant is feeling in that moment. And when I'm on that set shooting, and sometimes it's very intense, it's very tiring. You feel exhausted at the end of it because you're playing an intense character. There's all this energy because vengeance is a very intense emotion. And most of the time, Vikrant is reflecting that in his eyes. You're seeing that burning in his eyes. And that takes a lot of energy as an actor. So putting that out. Earlier, I used to have trouble switching out, when you're shooting nonstop for a few days. And you needed different things to kind of break your mindset from that. I've used comics. I've used funny films, a benign, lovely, delicious series like Friends, for example, just to make me just unwind and laugh. But now I've got the perfect antidote. I've got the switch on and switch off, which is my kids. So I just go spend time with them, and it just brings me back to who I am, who I want to be. I want to be this really good father, not perfect, but good father, a good person, a good example for my children, right? The right values, the right principles. So it brings me back to the core of who I am very, very quickly, very easily. So my kids are my antidote.
You just mentioned earlier it was tough for you switching off out of that character. Do you remember, do you want to talk about any particular character or movie?
Well, Vikrant, Krish 3, Carl, when I played Carl, I thought it was just going to be this comic book villain kind of guy, but sitting in that wheelchair all the time and then trying to project that again, hatred, that anger, that feeling denied and wanting to create his own form of justice or believing in his logic, or just that mad, raw power and fury of Maya Dolas in Shootout at Lokhandwala. Those were characters that were very intense and very difficult. And like I said, to me, more than the silences are where I think an actor comes alive, Sweta. I feel that it's in those silences between dialogues that an actor comes alive. And that has to be through your eyes. And that's where you have to feel it, because the camera catches it when you lie.
But apart from Vikrant, if you would want to play a character which would it be?
Oh, wow. That's like taking a kid to a candy store and saying, what would you like to pick? I'm a hungry actor, right? I'm constantly thinking of characters. I'm constantly thinking of stuff. And now as I grow more into being a producer, being a writer myself, creatively writing so much content, I'm also realizing that, oh no, I know as an actor, I'd love to play this, but I'm not the best fit for this part. Maybe this part should be played by this actor. So I'm kind of, growing up in a way in that journey too, saying that nahi, yaar, ye kahani ke liye ye actor theek hai. This is the right guy. I know I want to do everything, but I can't. I got to pick and choose the right ones. I'm super excited about stuff that I'm doing right now. I'm shooting this very interesting show called Dharavi Bank for MX Player, and the character there, the Jayan Gavaskar, the character that I play, is also a fascinating character and not something I've played before. It's a protagonist in the show, and Sunil Shetty Anna is playing the antagonist. Absolutely love him. So that's like a love-hate relationship, loving him in real life and hating him on screen. But those are the kind of things that I'm picking up right now. I'm only doing stuff that excites me, Sweta, or stuff that's making me feel like this is a kick, I want to do it. Like something I'm doing a film which I'll be shooting in England in the first quarter of next year, which is a full trip. It's a trippy movie. It is completely superficial. It's got no depth. It's got no emotion, but it's a trip. And I just love it. I just love the script. I love the idea. And I'm saying, let's take something trivial like this and let's have fun making a movie. So I'm doing stuff that's complete different ends of the spectrum, something real, something raw, something honest, and then something as trippy and superficial as what I'm doing next. I'm not allowed to talk about it, sorry. But yeah, so I'm having a really good time. I'm doing 2 shows, 4 movies that I've signed up, keeping myself busy.
An established actor's son, you did not use his name to access any sort of opportunities. Do you want to reflect on what made you not use this privilege that you could have very easily used?
I had a crisis of conscience, Sweta. I idolize my father. Vikrant Dhawan is hugely inspired by a performance of my dad's in the 1980s called Shraddhanjali, a film where he plays Lakshmi Narayan, this villain with a smile, which was unheard of in the 1980s. It was always, people who are screaming and shouting and playing almost Ravan in Ram Leela. So from there to play this kind of character. So I've always admired him. And one thing that he did was, even though we came from a quote-unquote royal family from Punjab, we came from wealth, he decided to struggle on his own, right? He got into a film institute on his own. He made it on his own merit. Never needed a sifarish or a letter or anything from anybody. I wanted to emulate that. So when my dad was producing a film for me, and Abbas Mustan were very kind, they decided to direct it. It was being the whole full-on launch, like, beta aa raha hai, launch karenge, dekho, and in those days it was quite typical that you had a launch movie where the actor who can do anything, look, we present him, the star son has arrived. So I wanted to do anything but that. And when I was lucky enough.
Were you not fascinated with that?
No, because I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be serious. To me, stardom is not exciting as much as just the process of acting and enjoying that and being, in that moment of creation. That's what drives me. That purity of creation is what is exciting to me. And I've been lost down the path. I've taken the wrong paths. I've been confused. I've gone through my own errors, my own journeys, and I own all of them. I own all my mistakes because they've enriched me. They've taught me to be who I am today. And who I am today is a very content person. And that's the journey I decided to take. I decided to be someone who wanted to make it on my own merit. My dad was very worried. He was like, you don't know, how difficult struggles are. And it was difficult. It was 18 months of constant rejection. And it's very personal, Sweta. People wouldn't just say no. They would say, you don't have it. You can never be an actor. You don't have the qualities of being an actor, and you feel very judged. And for me, it was like Arya Stark's diary, where I was writing down, names, where I was like, okay, these are the people who are going to call me back one day, and they're going to come to my house asking me to do their films. And when it happened, that was, I mean, it was a humble victory. I never gloated about it, but I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed those producers
You
not
picked
even
all those
remembering,
things?
and they didn't even remember me, right? They didn't even remember the fact that I was there struggling at their door. They dissed me, or they made me wait for 8 hours outside their office for me to see me for 2 minutes. They didn't even remember me. And here they were saying, sir, and please hamari film kijiye and all that. It felt really like a big victory and a big vindication inside. You have to believe in yourself. And I feel very proud that, you know, my father, in fact, more than me, feels very proud that without using his last name, his money, or his connections, on pure merit, on talent, I made it.
You made a critically acclaimed debut, and you proved that you did not actually need any of that. Then you had huge success, huge fan following with Satya. You're now back in the game, but as you mentioned yourself, there was this significant period when things did not quite work out well for you. How do you look back at that era? And as you mentioned, there were mistakes, whatever decisions and stuff. Do you regret any of those?
No, regret is not the word I would choose, because I believe you should regret things if you're not happy where they got you. Like, you know, you take a wrong turn and it's a bumpy road, but you land up at a place where it's spectacularly beautiful, where there's nothing but scenic beauty around you, there's peace. Then you thank that bumpy road. And I'm in that space where every single part of my journey I treasure. I smile about it now. I laugh about it. As far as the practical aspects of things, what are my observations now, being, sounds funny when I say it, but being a senior who's been around for maybe 20 years in the industry, I do feel that we have missed a trick or two. You know, the one big complaint that I feel about my industry is that we haven't developed that nursery to nurture young talent. It's always been so difficult. We've made it like this exclusive club where it's either your surname or who you know, or which lobby or which darbar you do salam at, that matters, not your talent. And that's unfortunate, because for any industry to thrive, for any place to grow, you need fresh blood, you need fresh ideas, you need people coming in, you need to be a welcoming space, and not a space that goes on, listen, you know, this is an exclusive club, and unless you have the right surname or the right contact, you're not in. That to me is unfortunate. And I love that the OTT is playing the part of that nursery. It's nurturing young talent. It's giving them that platform. We are discovering and creating stars as we are watching content. You know, we watch a Scam 1992 and Pratik Gandhi becomes a star out of that. That gives me great joy. And that's something that I also, in my own small, humble way, attempt to do. I attempt to bring in fresh talent and support new actors and remove any kind of hierarchical structure in the movies that I do. Even when I did this show, for the small women empowerment story that I have in my head, I requested Excel to put Richa's name above mine, even though technically I've been in the industry longer than hers. I said, no, let it be starring Richa Chadha and then Vivek Oberoi, and that's fine. And that's something I feel that's great. I feel that I celebrate that. I celebrate all my women colleagues. I celebrate Richa as a great actor, and I'm fortunate to have done a part with her. You know, so that equanimity, that sense of all doing away with all hierarchical structures and just being creative people having fun on a set is what should drive it.